Welcome back to What's Up, Oxford. I'm here now with Amanda Krieger and Dale Flynn from United Way. So welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, thanks for having us.
So first off, Dale, I've known you a very long time.
Yes.
What has made you to become the co-chair of United Way?
So I'd had some conversations over the last little while with Kelly, our director, and Amanda. And, you know, it was definitely a year where we knew there was going to be some challenges. So they've actually brought me on as co-chair with Brad Jansen. So I think having two of us with, feet on the street, trying to get involved in the community, talking to different organizations, people and businesses, hopefully we will be able to make an impact where we can get these people out to support. And the one thing I really always like to kind of push forward is, support doesn't always just have to be in cash donations. It can also be in your time. Both are very impactful and I really do believe can be life-changing with both aspects.
Of course. So you're here to talk about the Community Campaign Kickoff. So what is the Community Campaign Kickoff?
Yeah, so the fall is a very busy time for United Way. It's when a lot of our workplaces will run their workplace giving campaigns. It's when our letters go out to our community donors. It's when we host events like our campaign kickoff, like Stair Climb, to start raising awareness. And it's also a time where our funding applications have gone out. So any registered nonprofit can apply for funding through United Way. And that application process, the first round just wrapped up the beginning of October. So our volunteers are jumping both feet in right now to start looking at those applications. So it's a very busy time of year for us in the office.
Okay, and why is United Way important?
Yeah, so great question, Shannon, thank you. I started with United Way as a volunteer actually, because there's a few things that really resonated with my values. It's local. So all the money that we raise across Oxford County stays in Oxford County and helps people who live in Oxford County. So I really want to be a part of where my kids are going to school and the neighborhoods that we're growing up in and where I'm working. So that piece. The other piece about United Way is that it helps a lot of different people. Right, so 1 in 5 people in the county are impacted by a United Way funded program. And we work with, this year, 16 different organizations and we fund 42 different programs. So we're helping everybody from children and youth to individuals, families, seniors, everybody across that spectrum. So it's the way to have the deepest impact for us.
Because everything stays local. Mm-hmm. What would be an example of what United Way has done for kids, as an example?
Yeah, so a lot of our funding actually gets invested into the kids group. We have 3 groups of investment pillars, kids, and then poverty to possibility, which is housing and food supports. And then the last one is strong communities, so mental health and addiction supports. But typically half of our funding goes into the child and youth. So big partners with Big Brothers, Big Sisters across Oxford County. We have a youth in crisis fund that we are funding so that when a family goes through trauma or a child is dealing with some mental health issues, they don't have to wait on wait lists. They get immediate care, which makes a big difference to the families and the children that need that help right now. And then things like the Navy League, Sea Cadets in Town, the Fusion Center in Ingersoll is funded by United Way as well.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so lots of that free recreational stuff. As we see the costs of living going up, we're seeing families cutting back on some of those extracurriculars.
Right.
So we want to make sure that there's still those activities
available
free
for the
and
youth.
available for youth and families.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about food as well. I heard an interesting, I guess it was a news segment yesterday, that the Toronto Food Bank has seen, last year they saw something, and don't quote me on the numbers, but it was something like 60,000 people used the food bank, and now it's like 275,000 people are using the food bank. How would United Way impact something like that locally?
Yeah, so we were just talking with our food bank locally here in Woodstock, the Salvation Army, and they've seen like a 300% increase in people accessing food services. And obviously that correlation is donations are down. Right, so they're seeing a lot of working families now accessing the food bank.
Of course.
And the people that would typically leave that bag out for the realtor's driver or bring that bag to the Santa Claus parade have to keep, right?
Keep it. Well, yeah, because everything is so expensive.
The budgets are so tight, and a little bag of groceries now costs a lot of money, right? So we are funding something called Food Forward Oxford. So it's a program that started just during COVID, but it rescues food from community partners, so any like big food distributors, grocery stores, restaurants, and instead of it going to the landfills, they are able to divert that into organizations that are feeding people.
Oh, good. Okay.
So depending on what it is, sometimes it goes to the senior center if it's 80 pounds of onions for them to help their meals. Sometimes if it's dried goods or hot meals, it goes to things like the shelter or Women's Employment Resource Center. So it's really helping meet some of that need and fill some of that gap.
Perfect. Now, you had mentioned, Dale, that time is just as important as monetary. So what would that look like for our viewers that want to get involved? How can they get involved to be a volunteer with the United Way?
Yeah, absolutely. They can reach out to us anytime. So we have volunteer opportunities a few different ways. So one, special events. We host special events throughout the year, so we always need help with stair climb, managing a whole bunch of screaming youth in the complex.
I feel like Dale should sign up for that one.
Oh,
no?
yes. It's really fun. We have some volunteers that come in and help us with office administration. The big role for our volunteers is helping in their workplaces, right? So if you have a workplace campaign, that's United Way volunteering time to help to have me in and do a presentation and talk about community needs and to share resources, right? A lot of people don't know where to get help if they need help. So we get to come in and do presentations and share those resources.
Okay, wonderful. So if somebody does want to volunteer, they just reach out to United Way of Oxford?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Looking forward to all of the events that United Way will have coming up. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.